Now let's take a look how we make a pen. As you can see here, we're going to make a pen out of a deer antler. It is important to know that we need to cut at the largest part of the antler in order to be able to have enough antler to make the pen. We then move to the table saw, and with the brass tube that will fit inside the wood, we measure the desired length needed for each part of the pen. Now that we have two parts of the wood cut into the correct length, we then go to the drill press and with a 7mm drill bit, drill a hole all the way through the center of the wood. Now that we have our two parts of the pen with holes completely through, it is time to move to the gluing stage of the process. First, take sandpaper and rough out the outer surface of each brass tube. This helps the glue adhere to the wood and give it a little more grip. We have found the next step to work wonders with the glue and keep the glue from getting inside the brass tube. Press a small amount of Play-Doh in each end of the brass tube. Doing this helps not only keep the glue from inside the brass tube, but also makes it easier to slide the blanks on the lathe. The next step gets a little messy, so be careful or you will have glue all over your hands. Rubber gloves are worn so your fingers don't stick together. Take your CA thick glue and place a ring around the inside of your antler. Do this on both ends. We then take a skewer like the ones used for barbecues and run it in and out, spreading the glue throughout the antler. We then set this aside while placing glue on the brass tube, which for this we use CA medium glue. Once we have 3/4 of the brass tube covered in glue, insert it into the antler, making sure to turn the tube while pushing it into place. This helps to make sure all areas are covered with glue. Set the antler aside to dry, which takes about 3 to 4 hours. Using a 7mm bushing on the end and between each blank, place the wood on the lathe, tighten all the parts so that everything is turning evenly. Now you are ready to start the lathe and watch the magic begin. Taking a 3/4 inch gouge chisel, start grinding away at the wood. Once you have round the blank, then use a 1/4 inch gouge chisel to finish the diameter of the pen. Next, take a skew chisel and lightly round the edges of the blank until you are at the level of the bushings. Sanding is the next step. This gives it a smooth feel. We start with 150 sandpaper and work our way up to 600 sandpaper. It is very important not to miss any step in this process due to the polish that you apply later. Now that we have the feel that we want for the pen, we apply a liquid polish or a crystal coat to give the pen a luster that shines in the light. After applying the polish, let the lathe continue to turn and use the air to dry the pen. This takes about 5 minutes. You now have two wood blanks that are the same size and are ready to assemble your pen. Place all the parts out on the table and with the pen assembly jig, press the parts together. First, take the cap and clip and press it into the blank. This will be the top tube of the pen. Taking the other tube, insert the tip of the pen in one end and the turning mechanism in the other. You must be very careful when inserting the turning mechanism. If you don't press it in far enough, the pen tip will not come out far enough. If you press it in too far, the tip of the pen will show when it is closed. Once the mechanism is in place, insert the pen and make sure when the pen is open, it is at the right length, and when it is closed, the tip does not show. Place the center band on the bottom tube, slide on the top tube to the turning mechanism. Twist the pen again and make sure that it is working. And there you have your handcrafted pen.